I'm back and I'm still bougie. So, which means that I'm going to add on to credit report. So, if you have anything that you feel you want me to talk about, that I've experienced, because that's the only stuff I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to look up your particular situation. Just email me at shypimp74@gmail.com. That's shypimp74@gmail.com. Or make your own video. I'll review it, add it to my page if you want to. I want to get this information out to help people. It's not about making money or anything like that. So let's jump into the credit report. The first thing I want to talk about is the weight of the categories for your FICO score. What's most important that has a big effect to the least important. All categories are important, but they do weight them. Just like your kid in school or a kid in school, your test scores and your projects is 50% of the grade, and your classwork might be 30% and your homework might be 20%. So your FICO score is done the same way. They weight it. The first one is payment history. So making your payment on time. If you get in a hardship, put them all on a credit card. I think that's the cheapest minimum balance you're going to be able to do. Are they going to charge you out the yin yang? Yes, they are. But be smart about it. Do not skip a payment. I had a person one time asked me to help them they had a late payment show up on their credit report, and it was accurate. It was a late payment. Understand your credit report. Think of it as a report card. It's a report. Is stating what you've done. So it's like, I need that removed. I'm like, how are you gonna get something removed that you actually did? You actually were late. But what happened was they had a mortgage payment set up in bill pay, and they put an end date on the bill pay, even though the debt was not going to end on that date. So the people didn't get their payment. And I was like, why did you put an end date that didn't match when you was going to pay off that debt? I don't know. I said, you can't take that off. It's a report, and it's reported accurately. You can only get stuff taken off your report that's not supposed to be there at all, because there's laws about certain what can show up on a credit report and what can't show up on a credit report, or stuff that's not yours that you didn't do. Okay, so that's very important. One thing you want to do, always pay your bills on time. If you don't have the money to do it, don't charge it. Don't put it on something that's going to show up on your credit report. Number 2, debt to total credit line ratio. I talked about this already. I just do whatever the highest amount I've ever charged on a credit card times it by 4, and that's what I want my credit line limit to be. Okay, because if it gets to where you're spending over 30% of your credit line limit, they think you're irresponsible and you're getting possibly a little bit too close to your credit line limit, and so you're about to max it out. So they think you can't handle your debt. Number 3, length of credit history. Okay, I discussed that, of how we're going to secure our length of credit history by having bill credit cards and never touching those credit cards. Just throw a bill on it and have it pay statement balance in full, and that is building up your credit history, period. Never cut your credit cards off. I had somebody come to my house today, and they said, oh, I'm just going to cut this credit card off, but I have a balance on it. So I'm just going to reduce my credit line limit to a little bit above what I owe. I said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you came to me today. Please don't do that. And I had a conversation with them, and I was like, and don't cut the card off. But it was a different type of card, so I'm not familiar with that. So I couldn't give advice on that. The only thing I could give advice on, do not put your credit line limit right above your debt amount. So the next weighted thing, number 4, is new inquiries. Okay, talked about hard inquiries already. Soft inquiries, they're fine. So you ask somebody, are you going to do a hard inquiry or soft inquiry? You're like, yeah, I don't want any more hard inquiries right now on my credit report. So watch the inquiries, ask. If they ask for your social, more than likely, they're trying to do a hard inquiry on you. Ask. Number 5, having a variety of different categories. There's different debt categories, and I kind of went over that because I have basically no debt, it counted against me. But if you have, in different categories, credit cards, collections, student loans, auto loans, home loan, and other, if you have a debt in each one of those categories and you're making all the payments on time and you're doing everything you're supposed to, looks great. So the thing is, you don't want to stay in debt forever. I don't think anybody wants to stay in debt forever. So don't. So keep your credit history and stuff going by having those bill credit cards, like I said, and at least your credit history and your payment history looks awesome, and you can still have, an 800 credit score by just doing that. All right. Next, I want to talk about scam artists. These people are getting great. So I want to add on to that. Get alerts. The credit card companies are doing very awesome, I think. I spoke a little bit on that already. Find out how to get alerts on your debit, your credit card, and everything like that. Also, if you know something's going on or you're suspicious of something, you can put a fraud alert on the credit bureaus. And the rules on that change of how long when you put a fraud alert, but when you put a fraud alert, like I said, it won't allow you to even get a new account while the fraud alert's on there. It won't let anybody open up a credit. You got to jump through hoops just to get something to prove that you want to get open. So, but fraud alerts protect you also. I write up scam artists. If I think it's fraudulent, a website is fraudulent, because a lot of those websites are popping up selling stuff that they don't actually have. And it's happened to me several times for my daughter's prom dress and everything. Make sure you check their return policy and refund policy. If they're not going to give you all your money back, I wouldn't trust that site. A restock fee? No, not that one either. Not American. Nope. Not that one either. But what I learned, I think it was on consumer buyers or consumer complaints, was make sure you use a credit card. Because the person that came to my house today, they also had said that they did a debit card and they thought somebody committed fraud, and they said they couldn't reverse debit. But credit card, oh yeah, you can dispute that. Have all the proof lined up, have all the communication between you and the store or whoever it is, because they want to make sure that you did all you could do with the store. And if they won't budge and you got pictures and the communication and you have their policy off their website and that you're supposed to get your money back, guess what? Send all that to your credit card company and they'll reverse the charge. They did for me. Next thing you know, the people contacted me saying, we're suing you. I said, oh, okay, I'll see you in court. No problem. I never went to court because they were wrong. They committed fraud. And their website was fraudulent because it said that they'll give 100% refund back, plus they'll pay for the shipping label if they sent the wrong item. And they did send the wrong item. And I had pictures and everything. And they said, oh, we don't do that. I said, but your website says it. Yeah, but we don't do that. I'm like, okay, not a problem. It's cool. So I write up to a whole bunch of agencies, and people ask me sometimes, like, who you write to? And I'm like, anybody that accepts my complaint. I Google it. So a few of the agencies I write to is Yelp, Better Business Bureau, Scam Watch, Scam Book, Site Jabber, Consumer Complaint, USAA.gov, Consumer Affairs, My 3 Cents, Trustpilot, Google Reviews. And what a lawyer taught me was that Attorney General's office sometimes takes on your complaints for free. So he's like, I'll be glad to take your money, but This is something that the Attorney General office does for free, and they just are basically mediators to try and bring everybody to a happy medium. But they're also controlling some business licenses in the state, so they're no joke. So if you go through all the resources, everybody's boss, supervisor, find corporate office of whoever you're dealing with, and you write them up on all these websites and you're still not getting anywhere, call the Attorney General's office before you call a lawyer and pay money. It's free. I almost forget. Um, One of my ex co-workers told me that also NBC 4 for this area, you can write to them and they'll tell you whether they'll take your case or not. And I did get an email back from them, so they will say yay or nay. But like I said, have all the pictures, documentation, and everything. They'll research it and tell you whether you might be on TV. Okay, see you soon.